Hey, Hauntings, Homicide, and Hearsay listeners. We know you like all things horror. Well, we have a new podcast for you to listen to.
Extreme Horror Replay. They're a husband and wife team like us that reviews all things horror.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you like our banter and off-the-rails conversation,
then you'll love them as well. They're definitely not experts, but horror fans nonetheless.
Extreme Horror Replay can be found on most major podcast platforms. Follow them on Instagram at extreme_horror_replay.
And now, on to the show. I'm very fortunate that I didn't have a lot of rules or a lot of different restrictions on what I could watch on TV. And I remember when I was 6, my very first horror movie I was ever able to watch was Scream. And it scared the crap out of me at first. I only got through the first little scene there. And then I had to come back to it 6 months later. But I think that's really what drew this passion for the paranormal and true crime. So welcome to another episode of Hauntings, Homicide, and Hearsay. All right, welcome back to the show, True Crime Friday. I am very, very excited, but of course, our new format for the show, we're going to start out with some memes, and I think these memes are going to tell Ashley exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, I think I already know.
I think you might already know. So the first meme is on the top, Drew Barrymore in 1996's slasher classic, Scream. Normal people watching horror movies. And at the bottom, me watching horror movies. It was fun.
Stop it, I love Matthew Lillard.
We've got the second one, that one friend who's a lightweight and always acts like this after a sip of beer. It's me. I'm the friend. I'm feeling woozy here.
Son of a bitch, I was going to throw you under that bus, but you just jumped right in front of it.
Oh, I did. I will admit it.
Ready.
I don't know who this woman is, but the quote at the top says, I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course I have a gun. And at the bottom it says, the behavior that you exhibited was iconic. Like the legend jumped out.
Jesus.
Us horror geeks spotting those Easter eggs left and right. # Scream movie. And it's the Leo DiCaprio.
Oh my God, from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
With the ghost face mask on. Hello, one ticket, please. For what movie? Me at the concession stand.
Yes! Shut up, because that was almost us. If you had just gone over to the pole barn when that came out and dug that costume out, your ass would have been sitting in that theater, fully Scream 2'd out, just fucking mowing on some popcorn.
100%. And then we've got a picture of Randy Meeks, played by Jamie Kennedy, knows all the rules to survive a scary movie, dies in the scary movie. Horror meme corner. Oh man! So
Randy did so dirty.
Randy did.
But you know what? You know why?
Yeah, did so dirty.
He was too fucking powerful of a character.
He was. He'd still be living right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then there would be no Scream 5 because the Scream 5 focuses on, or a lot of the focus, I should say,
is on the original
and on his niece and nephew.
Yeah.
So, listener, you might be asking yourself, why are we talking about Scream so much? Well, number one, it's
Steven.
The best fucking horror movie ever.
Wrong.
No, I don't even care about your opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter. Go fuck yourself. Scream is the best franchise in horror history. I don't care. I don't care about the Nightmare on Elm Streets of the world.
No.
I don't care about Halloween. I don't care about Friday the 13th.
You're wrong.
Fuck them. Saw is a very close second. Scream will always, literally always have a very, very special place in my heart. That's why I have Ghostface on my arm, tattooed. Should specify it's a tattoo.
I think everyone figured out it was a tattoo unless you draw it on every fucking day, you nerd.
Do. Sophia asked me this morning.
Why it hasn't washed off?
Was it this morning? No, it was yesterday. Yeah, when I got out of the shower, she goes, Daddy, why haven't your tattoos washed off yet? I'm like, because adult tattoos don't wash off.
Yeah.
Just
she keeps asking me about that one on my arm. She's like, when's it going to wash off? And I'm like,
never.
Not unless y'all cremate me.
Yeah, right.
Then they go bye-bye.
So what a lot of people don't know is that Scream, the original Scream, Kevin Williamson wrote the script based on actual murders that occurred in the 80s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And you may have heard of this guy. And on a previous episode, I had made mention that a lot of these serial killers are stupid. And I said, especially one that I've got coming up. This guy was an idiot. And he goes by the name of the Gainesville Ripper. So the Gainesville Ripper, actual name Danny Rolling, was born in Shreveport, Louisiana on May 26, 1954. His father was a police officer in Shreveport and would constantly tell Danny that he was unwanted from birth. So we're off to... What a great start. We're just off to a great start here.
You know what? Sometimes I question my parenting. I'm like, wow, am I a shitty mom?
And then
And then I hear shit like this, and I'm like, I'm doing fucking top tier God level work.
Exactly. Danny was also abused by his father along with his mother and brother, usually for very small things, even as small as breathing in a way that annoyed him.
Jesus.
Yeah. At one point, Danny's mother even ended up in the hospital after Danny's father forced her to cut herself with a razor blade. She would repeatedly attempt to leave her husband, but always return back to him. One example of what he would do to Danny was one time he pinned Danny to the ground and handcuffed him, then had police take him away, reportedly because he was, quote, embarrassed by him.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In his early teenage years, Danny was arrested multiple times for robberies in the state of Georgia, and at another point was even caught spying on a woman who was getting dressed. Yeah. So it just escalates. It just immediate boom, just boom, and then keeps getting worse.
This is why I'm not embarrassed to literally show my kids affection 24/7. I don't care if people think I'm babying them. I'm gonna give you the kisses and look at your little hands and how you're so perfect and I love you and you're great. Like, I don't care, because it's the literal opposite of the shit that creates serial killers.
Exactly. No, I agree. So we are so there's not a whole ton of information about him, but with that being said, we're just jumping right in. So in August of 1990, Rolling committed, this is kind of the TLDR, so he committed 5 murders of students during his burglary and robbery spree in Gainesville, Florida. Not only did he murder them, but he mutilated their bodies, decapitated them, and posed them.
I have a question. Was he a teenager himself?
No, he was an adult at this point. He was born in 1954.
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to clarify, because my brain's still working on how, like, Kevin Williams built a script around this.
Yeah. So on, you'll figure it out. It's pretty, I don't want to say accurate. That's not the word I want to use, but
apparent.
Yeah.
Obvious.
So the first murder happened on Friday, August 24th of 1990. Danny broke into an apartment which was shared by a pair of 17-year-old university students. Their names were Sonia Larson and Christina Powell. As Danny broke into the apartment, he found Christina asleep on the couch downstairs. He briefly stood over her, but did not wake her up, but chose to explore the bedroom upstairs where Sonia was also asleep. Danny decided to murder Sonia first by taping her mouth shut to quiet her screams, and then proceeded to stab her to death with what has been reported to be a K-bar knife. So think of a K-bar knife, it's a tactical knife.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
And
it looks eerily similar to a buck 120, doesn't it?
Looks eerily similar to a buck 120.
Buck? What the buck?
Yeah. Yep. So
really, what's the difference? It's a brand.
It's a brand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a brand. However, on Buck's website, you can get a 120 and you can get it engraved. And I want to get it engraved with what's your favorite scary movie?
Do you know how many of those they probably send out? And every time they get an order, they're probably like, God fucking damn it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But at the same time, the CEO's like, fuck yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see. She attempted to fight him off, but died with her attempts. Yep. Danny then headed back downstairs where he proceeded to tape Christina's mouth shut as well, but this time he also bound her wrists together behind her back and threatened her with the knife as he proceeded to cut off her clothes. After that, he raped her and forced her to lie face down on the floor where he proceeded to stab her 5 times in the back. After the killing was done, Danny posed the bodies in reportedly sexually provocative positions, and before leaving the apartment, he took his time and decided to take a shower. And I literally wrote, dumbass. You're showering, you're leaving your DNA all over the fucking place.
What year was this? Did they have
1990.
DNA like that?
1990.
Did they have DNA capabilities like that?
I'm guessing so. It wasn't that long ago.
Well, there's a real big boom of like
That's
when
true.
Suddenly like technology caught up. Like they were collecting a lot of DNA samples. Like forensic pathologists. But either way. CSI.
I'm going to assume so.
Well, there's a lot of the times if you watch these like specials and stuff, they're like, we didn't know when this would be available, but we knew we needed to collect this, that one day we could test this.
Let me take back everything I just said and say yes.
All of it. Even everything about his formative years. I'm just being a douchebag. You said take back all of what you said.
Gotcha.
No takesies backsies.
On the next day, Saturday, August 25th of 1990, Danny broke into another apartment, which was occupied by an 18-year-old by the name of Krista Hoyt.
Popular name, then.
He pried open a sliding glass door with a screwdriver, but came to find that she wasn't home. But the crazy motherfucker waited in the living room for her to return home.
I need you to understand, I just picture... Here's what's going through my what's up from like Scary Movie. He's just sitting there. There's no in between. It's either like chilling out, smoking a joint, like just fucking around like that, or like absolutely like a Ken doll, like
just sitting there like
stiff as hell, just being like, I'll wait.
Oh, he would be stiff as hell.
Stop! What? Stop! I know what you're going for, but.
Reportedly, Krista returned home at 11 a.m., and as she entered, Danny surprised her from behind and placed her in a chokehold. After she had been subdued, he proceeded to again use duct tape to stifle her screams and bound her wrists together once again. He then led her to her bedroom where he cut the clothes from her body and raped her. Similarly to Christina, he forced her to lie face down on the bed and stabbed her in the back, which ruptured her aorta. He then proceeded to flip her lifeless body over onto her back and cut her open from her pubic bone all the way to her breastbone.
That made my skin crawl.
Yeah.
I need to take a second. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Okay.
After he arrived back at the campsite he was inhabiting at the time, Danny discovered that his wallet was missing. Thinking he might have left it at the murder scene, he returned and completed his work, decapitated Krista, posed her body in a sitting position at the edge of her bed, and placed her head on a shelf facing her corpse.
It's not okay, but...
No.
Okay.
Later, when confessing his crimes, he would tell investigators and interviewers that the only purpose for doing things like decapitating and posing the bodies was simply to add shock value for whoever found the bodies. There was no real reason for it. He's
just sick and fucked up.
Yes. It was at this point that the murders were attracting media attention, and many of the local students began taking extra precautions, reportedly changing their daily routines and sleeping together in groups. Because the murders were happening so early in the fall semester, a lot of students withdrew their enrollment completely or transferred to other schools. Now, 2 days later, on Monday, August 27th of 1990, Danny broke into the apartment of 23-year-old Tracy Pauls and 23-year-old Manny Taboda. Once again, by prying open a sliding glass door with the same tools that he had previously used, he entered and he found Manny sleeping in one of the bedrooms, and after a brief struggle with him, killed him. Tracy heard the noise and went to Manny's room where she found Danny. She tried to barricade herself in her bedroom, but Danny broke through the door. As his MO has proven, he proceeded to tape her mouth shut